Okay, here we go. End of the Fifi stories until way down the road I get to Sprinkling Fifi Tour. I don't know how many of you know this, but on April 15th, Fifi left. I didn't ask her to leave, but something happened that she chose to leave, and it was this. Probably only a year and a half or 2 years after we met, her stepmom had died, her dad had died, her sister had died, her brother-in-law had died, her dog had died, dog of 14 years, and if you're a dog person, that ain't insignificant. And somebody else who's escaping me at the moment. She was beaten. So I said, Fief, we don't need you to work. Why don't you just quit for a while, take some time off, if and when you get ready to go back to work, go, okay? So that went on for a couple of years of her not working outside the home. So I also told her at that time, something you could do that would really help me is pay the bills. It doesn't take me forever, but as goofy, complicated as my life is and the way I want the records kept, once a month, that's, 2 to 4 hours, and I just dread it. So shit, sure. Okay, roll forward 2 years, and I haven't looked at anything she's done for 2 years. I discover that she has spent an unbelievable amount of money, and I mean a big amount of money. After the fact, people ask me, like my dad, how could you have not noticed this? Well, the vast majority of it was clothing, and very nice, very expensive clothing. She had a closet in one of the spare bedrooms that over a period of time she had filled with damn nice, damn good looking, damn expensive, but totally unneeded clothing. So that was a big chunk of where the money went. My dad, Big Jack, was coming around to our place to give me guidance on redoing the glassed-in 3-season porch we had that looked out on the lake. After Fifi was gone and this story kind of started circulating, he said, Phil, there was something new in your house. I mean, like, every time I came over. Are you telling me you didn't see that? And I went, I don't notice anything. So Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I wouldn't have seen it. A current example, I'm on this cruise ship, and there is above one of the pools a big screen that is probably 30 feet wide and 20 feet tall. It is immense. This is day 17 of the cruise, or no, excuse me, 13. And this is the first time I've seen it, and I've been up there every day. So, I finally stumble across this. Some kind of notice had come on a Visa card. I don't remember the particulars. And I confronted her with it, and I said, "You will never again touch anything with my name on it financially." And she got pissed, and she left the house. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but oh, and by the way, she had like a Ryan or Phil Dawson credit rating, whopping big, because turned out she had all these extra credit cards that she was keeping up on. And so if you have a lot of debt but you're making your payments, you go up, your score goes up. So, armed with that, she goes out and leases a vehicle. That's fine. The only problem is she had a brand new Ford Sport Track, which is kind of a pickup truck. A little more pickup truck than car, but kind of a conglomeration of the two. So she rents this PT Cruiser, cute little car, convertible, Plymouth. She also goes out and rents an apartment at a place called Steeplechase at about 147th and West Maple. Now, I had problems with both of those. Now, by the way, she moved because she was pissed, and she said, "I just need some time by myself." So I'm going, then why in the hell did you enter into a 1-year lease? And we have our condo at Carter Lake still full of furniture that you've been theoretically trying to sell for a year or two. Why didn't you just go there? And no good answer. She obviously wasn't thinking very clearly at that point. So, so now we're at mid-April, and she's pretty clearly not thinking very stably. Somewhere between April 15th and August 15th when she died, and closer to April 15th, she says to me, "Sparky, I couldn't tell you what, but I am totally in fear that I am going to do something that hurts you financially. And you've got kids. I'd hate to see that happen. I can't give you like particular anything I'm thinking of, but I'm afraid of that. Okay. And she says, I think we should get divorced. So I can't have my name on anything with your name on it. And I thought, well, that's weird and that's shitty. But, I mean, I understood her point. So we had that condo in Carter Lake. Iowa has same-day divorce. Courthouse opens at 8 o'clock. You bring in the very scant paperwork. You're done by noon, literally. And no 90-day waiting period like Nebraska has. So it was the instant answer to that issue. Okay? Now, she dies mid-August. My divorced self is with her family doing her obit. And they, or the person at the funeral home, is asking, was she married? And they said, yes. And I went, whoa, no. And we had a couple 3-minute discussion, and they said, we want you to be in the obit as husband Phil. And you lead off, and then we follow behind. So I said, okay. Now, that was a little controversial among some of the female friends that I have. Nobody else really had a big problem with it, but there was a group of 5 or 10 who said that's bullshit and one thing or another, like it affected them. I still see her family that is up in Minneapolis regularly. In fact, as we had trouble scheduling Christmas, I had trouble scheduling with them. We're planning on getting that done early mid-February. I made several trips to see their mom, Mary, my old sister-in-law, while she was dying, which she did in 2022. And this is all, were you divorced or weren't you divorced stuff. Fifi wrote 2 one-page suicide letters, both to me, her ex-husband. At the funeral, Adam did a wonderful PowerPoint. At the funeral, my, I still think, best ever poem, Friends, was on a table. I did the eulogy. I cleaned out and disposed of her apartment stuff. Before she died, she had gotten a second car. on a lease. So I went through the mess of getting those two things settled. Her estate was like a mini nightmare. And by the way, I've told you guys that's why I started doing my dead letter. Her estate was a mess. Adam's was a little less. Hers was bad enough. She had been out of my house on her own for 4 months. When she died, she had almost $50,000 of new credit card debt because she could get it. So getting that straightened out was a nightmare. And my very good friend, Pat Morrow, who was an estate and trust attorney, billed me $11,000 to clean it up. I also spent a chunk of change to get an area out back behind the, how can I blank on this? NHS means Nebraska Humane Society. We fenced in an area. She was so huge on dogs. And I got to put a plaque on it that said Fifi's Fence. And then, of course, we have the infamous Sprinkling Fifi tour. None of these are the motions of an ex-husband, but I still carry that divorce from Fifi. Mementos after she died. I kept a bag of her clothes, pulled them out of the hamper. I didn't know. I thought months down the road they'd still have her scent on them. They didn't. Here's one that has nothing to do with dying. She always wanted to swim with the dolphins. We were down in Cozumel, and there were a couple places that did that. She did it. She was over the moon thrilled, right? Well, for 25 bucks, I could have gotten a professional quality photograph of her having risen out of the water with the dolphins' noses, 2 of them, under her heels to lift her. I thought 25 bucks was bullshit. So I didn't pay to get that perfect picture, and instead, what I have, it's like taking a picture of the sunset with your iPhone. You have a little dot and all this other stuff. That's what I have. She showed me a picture one time weighing 85 pounds. She normally weighed about 125. She weighed 85 pounds. She was bulimic, which is how she got down to that point. She must have been pretty comfortable in our relationship to show me that, because it was horrific. But, you know, in a weird, sick way, that picture and the way that woman looked in current times are a testament to what a wonderful thing the human body is. To go from that depth and come all the way back. I know earlier I made this point. I have less than half a minute of Fifi video footage. This is turning out to be way the hell more than anyone wanted. But it's better than having a half a minute. Okay, I am going to... Oh, and this works well. I have plenty of time in the 30-minute zone. I'm going to read off to you almost all, I'm sure, of the places Fifi and I went in our 5 years or so. Here we go. Yosemite, Sequoia, Bonneville Salt Flats, Salt Lake City, Grand Canyon, Hoover Dam, Mount Rushmore, Las Vegas, Mount St. Helens, La Wis campgrounds, fir trees, on the honeymoon, Lutz in Minnesota, Lake Erie, Niagara Falls, which was her favorite trip, and we were in an RV, pouring rain. We couldn't leave it for 2 days, her favorite trip. Chicago, Cozumel, Tampa, Arches National Park, Canyonlands National Park, Winter Park skiing, Bridges of Madison County, Sandhills crane viewing, the Kearney Arch, Rocky Mountain National Park, Devil's Tower, Toadstool Park, Chimney Rock, Kansas City, Tulsa, Bull Shoals, Mitchell, South Dakota's Corn Palace, the Seattle Sub-Story, the Seattle Engagement Off-Season Hot Air Balloon, Swimming with the Dolphins, my cheap-ass $25 pick, dumbass it says, 17-day honeymoon, and the Tiki Hut in Isla Mirada in the Florida Keys. Gee, no wonder it felt like we had a fine time. We did. And in closing, I'm hungry. For what? Pancakes.